Reading is awesome! And so are you, and so is the book we're going to read today. It's called A Tiger Called Tomas. This book combines a couple of my favorite things, Halloween and friendship. You know, sometimes making a new friend can be hard to do, especially if you're shy. But oh my goodness, it's worth it. The joy you feel when you make a friend is just wonderful. This book is going to explore Halloween, making friends, and how a costume helped a shy boy get to know his neighbors. Let's get started with the story. A Tiger Called Tomas by Charlotte Zolotow and Marta Alvarez Miguens. A Tiger Called Tomas. There once was a little boy named Tomas. He was very nice. But when he and his family moved to a new house on a new street, he took it into his head that the new people might not like him. So he never left his stoop. He looks sad. Why don't you play with that little girl Marie? His mama asked him. Maybe she wouldn't like me, Tomas said. Of course she'd like you, his mama said. Why wouldn't she, porque no? But Tomas didn't answer. Why don't you visit the lady with the black cat down the street? His mama asked. They might not like me, Tomas said. Of course they'd like you. Why wouldn't they like you, porque no? His mama said. But Tomas didn't go. That tall boy named Gerald looks lonely, his mama said. I don't think he'd like me, said Tomas. Of course he'd like you, said Tomas's mama. Why wouldn't he like you, porque no? Everybody likes you. But Tomas wouldn't leave his stoop. He sat there and watched when Marie played hopscotch. He sat there and watched the old lady's cat as it prowled through the grass and shrubs. He sat there and watched when Gerald walked past the house, and he thought about how tall he was. Oh, Tomas, said his mama, everyone will like you. Why don't you go play? But Tomas shook his head and just sat on the steps, watching. The lady in the house across the street was always out in her yard, watering the plants, raking the leaves, sweeping the walk, picking her flowers. And all the while, Tomas sat on his stoop and watched. He watched the old man who came up the street with his big black poodle 3 times a day. The poodle always looked over its shoulder at Tomas, and its tail stood up like a small palm tree and wagged from side to side. But Tomas just sat on his steps and watched them pass. That seems kind of lonely. He watched the sparrows and the grackles and the blue jays in the trees. He watched the black cat look up at the sparrows and grackles and blue jays. But he never went off the stoop to play. Oh, there's Tomas sitting on the steps, just watching. On Halloween, his mama came home with a tiger costume for him. "Try this on," she said. Tomas put on the orange and black striped suit with its quilted tail. He put on the mask with its long whiskers. "How do I look?" he asked his mama. "Exactly like a tigre," she said. Tomas looked in the mirror, and his mama was right. "No one will know who I am when I go trick-or-treating," he said. There was a large orange moon in the sky, and it was already getting dark when Tomas went out. The branches of the trees hardly showed, except where they laced across the moon. He crossed the street to the house of the lady who was always outside. The chrysanthemums were still blooming in front of her house. Oh, look at the other Halloween costumes. Which one is your favorite? "Trick or treat!" Tomas called when she came to the door. "Well, hello," the lady said. She dropped a package of orange candies into his bag. "Happy Halloween!" "Thank you," answered the tiger. "You're welcome, Tomas," the lady said, closing the door. Under his mask, Tomas flushed. "That's funny," he said to himself. She called the tiger Tomas. At the next house, he rang the bell. "Trick or treat," he called. Marie's mother opened the door. She had candy apples for the treat. "Oh, thank you," the tiger said, for he especially liked candied apples. "You're welcome," said Marie's mother. "Marie is a witch tonight. Maybe you'll pass her. But anyway, come play hopscotch here tomorrow, Tomas." "Thank you," Tomas said again. But when the door closed, he reached up to feel his mask. It was still on, covering his whole face. "That's funny," he thought. "She knew who I was, too." He passed a tall ghost going up to the house as he left. He couldn't see the ghost's face, but there was something very familiar about this figure. "Hi, Tomas," said the ghost. "Want to play horseshoes tomorrow? I got a new set." "Sure," said Tomas. The ghost was Gerald. Tomas could tell by the height. "Did you see the black poodle looking out the window from the house next door?" He went to the old man's house. The black poodle threw back his head and barked wildly when he saw the tiger at the door. But when he sniffed at the tiger's feet and sniffed at the tiger's quilted tail, he suddenly put up his own palm tree tail and wagged it hard. "Trick or treat," the tiger said. The old man had made big pumpkin cookies. "Fresh baked, Tomas," he said, winking as he dropped one in the bag. "Best thing for tigers," he added, and winked again as he watched the tiger go down the steps. He called the tiger Tomas too, thought Tomas. Now he rang the bell at the house of the old lady and the black cat. "Trick or treat," he called. Come in, the little old woman said. Her black cat looked curiously at the tiger, and the tiger reached out to stroke the cat's black, slippery fur. "He loves that," the little old lady laughed. "Come play with him again, Tomas," she said. "He gets lonely." "So do I," said Tomas. She knew too, he thought to himself as he turned toward home. The orange moon was a little higher in the sky. The sky was a little blacker than before. He couldn't see any of the branches against it now. A group of ghosts and goblins was coming down the steps of the lady across the street, and a solitary but familiar-looking witch with her broom under her arm passed him. He looked at her curiously as he walked slowly toward the steps of his house. It was Marie. "Hi, Tomas," called Marie. Tomas walked upstairs to his own room. He looked in the mirror at the tiger, at the tigre. The tigre in the mirror looked back at him, whiskers and all. "Have a good time?" asked his mama. "How did they know who I was?" Tomas asked. "Did they?" said his mama. "Yes," Tomas said. "The mask didn't fool them a bit, and they all asked me to come back." "I guess they all like you," his mama said. Tomas looked at her. Suddenly he felt medio borrizo. "Oh, I like them too," he said. And when he took off the mask, he was smiling. Do you smile when you make a new friend? I do. It sometimes feels like you won't make any friends when you're at a new place, a new school, a new house, a new town. But, if you go out and you talk with people, you'll find you'll make friends. Now, I'm looking through this book right now because I want to see the other costumes. Aren't there some really cute costumes in this book? I like the tiger. Tomas did a great job looking like a real tiger, or tigre, as they say in Spanish. Oh, what other costumes are there in this book? I told you I like this book because it mixed a couple of things that make me happy. Making friends and Halloween. And dogs. I didn't even add that before, but I like seeing a dog. And cats. Look at the kitty cat. Oh, I just don't know which costume I like best. Do you know what you're going to wear for Halloween? I bet you've picked out an awesome costume. Do you know what else is awesome? That's right. Reading. Reading is awesome.